Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair. I have an amplifier here, so this is probably from the 80s or 90s. You might class this as a home amplifier based treble balance, loudness. You have speakers A or B, and then inputs various things, CD, LAN. It's got a LAN input on his phono, tuner, AUX, and recorder. And here it sort of says like 1, 4, 3, 2, and something I can't quite read there on that sticker. So, oh, computer. Okay, I thought it says comp or computer. So these things get used in some of the smaller bars here. It's quite grubby, as you can see. Splashes of beer and stuff on it. This end looks a bit sticky. Okay, so that's how it came to me. So this is out of one of the small bars in Puerto Rico. These bars show mainly sport, football. They have music on, but not like loud. It's not like a disco or a club, yeah. More kind of like background-ish music. So anyway, he tells me that one speaker isn't working. That's the problem with it. I'm not totally sure whether that is or is not correct. So let's just connect my speakers to it, and then we'll just see what it does, I think. Let's see. So this is the input select. There are some LEDs here. This just rotates. It doesn't like stop. I thought it might be a switch, but it like has like clicky points where it kind of like clicks. Feels a bit like a rotary encoder. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but we will find out. So power this up. Yeah, there's a blue light on. Something went click. I don't see anything happening here though on the inputs. Oh. I hear a bit of a buzzing noise on one speaker. So speakers we have A and B. Yeah, that must select the inputs. I mean, can't see anything else that does. Let's just put some audio on. Some advert or other that. So here, audio on one speaker. But this doesn't seem to do anything. Okay. So I'm connecting the audio into the AUX input on the back. Oh! I do have both speakers working. Yeah, but the balance in the middle, that's a good thing. So, this is working on the AUX input only. I think the switch is broken. I'll just check then to see what that switch is supposed to do. I mean, there must be a user manual for this thing, which is a Pioneer integrated amplifier A20K. Okay. Guys, I actually have a service manual for this one. So I'll pop this onto my Google Drive and I'll put the link in the video description. Then you can download this if you wish. Now, looking at this, at first thought, I thought this was a switch, and it's not a switch at all. So this is an IC loop 30 pin LC78212. And we can see these are the various inputs, okay? And then this IC, although it looks like switches, effectively, or electronic switches, I guess, JFETs or something inside there. And this is controlled by something. We have data, clock, select, reset, okay. And also I've taken the top off the amplifier And I can clearly see here, because this is where the selector switch is, this in fact is a rotary encoder. Okay, so that's a rotary encoder. And that somewhere or other will be controlling that IC. There must be a microcontroller. So let's have another look at the schematic. Okay guys, so I had a look at this user manual. I'll show you a little bit about this and explain what I've done while I was playing around. So we can see this is the switch, but not a switch. It's an IC that selects the various inputs. But the symptoms on this amplifier are that the select LEDs don't work. I've tried all of the inputs now. The only one that works is, it says here line. That's the same thing as AUX on the back of the amplifier, okay? So that seems to work by default. No matter how you adjust the knob, it makes no difference. That's controlled from this microcontroller here. We can see this. So this has various other functions. This also controls the LEDs. It looks like this chip is controlled by these three lines. So chip enabled, data and clock, we can see here. And those come down to this 74HCT17007F. This looks like some sort of buffer to me. And those signals come through the buffer and they are here. This might actually change the voltage level actually. Wouldn't be surprised. And we can see function clock, function data. I'm sure chip enables here as well. So that's basically how the microcontroller controls this chip. Now you might think, well, this chip is faulty, it's not selecting any inputs, but remember the LEDs, the input select LEDs are not working either. And those are also controlled by the microcontroller on these connections. Network LED, AUX LED and so on. And that actually comes to this part of the circuit. You can see here we have some, these are called digital transistors with built-in resistors on them, switching the LEDs. You can see the LEDs here. So it would suggest that the problem is with this chip not sending the commands, because not only do we have a problem with this not switching, it just seems to default to the AUX input. We also have a problem with the LEDs not switching as well. So I had a look around this. I noticed it mentions firmware update in this manual. And that was the next thoughts. And it mentions here how to check the firmware version. So in standby, press front key, direct and speakers A at the same time for 5 seconds. And at this time, the version can be checked with the indicator, it says. Now, major version is speaker B, it shows you here. Minor version is one of these LEDs, okay? Let's have a look what happened, because I did this when it wasn't actually on video. I didn't expect anything to happen, to be quite honest, but I'll show you what did happen. So I held in this button, I held in speaker A, and after 5 seconds it went click. So AUX is lit up, speaker A is lit up, okay, and the direct button is lit up. So let's just look at that chart again. Then we can see speaker A is major version 4 and AUX is minor version 2. So I'd say it means like 4.2, probably, just a guess. Look, here's an example, 3.60, okay. So the pure D button, well, I don't actually see that, but it's not lit up anyway, so that must be 0. So I would say we are actually reading a firmware version from the amplifier. I'll just try that again, actually show you. Let's see if it'll do the same thing. So we switch it off. We'll switch it back on again. So it's now in standby. Okay, we'll hold in this one and speaker A together. Count for a few seconds. Now this time it went click and came on. It's done something different. Oh no, it's done it. Okay, so now it's gone to a different one. But the firmware version can't be different. Okay. But this is now working. Look at that. Look at that. Amazing. Yeah. When it was on 4, by the way, it didn't work. So let's see if this is actually now repaired. Just by pressing some buttons. Let's just make sure this is working on all of the inputs now. So a little bit of music, of course. Okay, yeah, so that's the AUX input. Now let's try recording. So I'll switch it to the input and then just move the cables. Yeah, one channel, other channel. And then we have, what's this one, tuner. So again, just swap the wires to the correct input. Yep, that's fine as well. Now we have a, what's the other input here? Network. Okay, go to network. Network. Yep. Okay. And then we have CD. Oh, and one more, recorder. Okay, so the recorder. Yep. So that's working on all of the inputs. I haven't tried phono because that's for a record deck. It has a much higher sensitivity on that input, and I don't have a vinyl record deck. But yeah, that's working. Well, that surprised me because I fixed that. Magic fingers, yeah. I honestly thought that maybe the firmware was corrupted, but the second time I told it to read the firmware version, I got a different answer, and it works. Yeah. What do you guys think? Well, get to the comments down there and let me know. And maybe Detu's around the corner. What do you think, Det?
Magic hands.
And just to be sure, guys, I've powered it off at the mains, left it off for a minute, powered it back on again, and it is still working. So the fix seems to be permanent for now. And here's Det. So I was just chatting to Det about this. I mean, you can see I haven't reprogrammed the firmware. All I did is follow the instructions in the service manual to read the firmware version. It read it, it gave me a version, but the thing still didn't work, although one LED was now on. When I did it again to show you guys, it started to work properly. And I was wondering, I mean, I haven't reprogrammed the firmware, I haven't flashed it, so Det had some thoughts. So what do you think might have gone on with this one?
Magic hands.
Other than that?
That's a logical solution.
Okay.
Now, I think you triggered a factory reset there. Just by asking the CPU, give me the firmware version, and probably it find this will have flash somewhere. So your last selected button will be stored somewhere.
It does say in the MCU the information that it has flash, or there is flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, and flash has limited write cycles, so maybe you got not a broken CPU, but something dying there. And maybe it realized by checking simply the firmware, so, oh man, my flash is completely scrambled.
So you think
could be age, could be write cycles.
So you're thinking this is akin to it with a motherboard where a corrupted CMOS can stop it from booting, which is different from a corrupted BIOS. So a BIOS, you'd have to reprogram the BIOS, in other words FirmWare. The CMOS are settings, and you think that's an analogy.
I go for the settings, yeah. Because it looks like the CPU is still alive.
Yeah, it's working now, and I've powered it off and on, and it still works, yeah. Okay, guys.
Great thing you found the thing where you have the debug firmware updating thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the question remains: why do you need a firmware update for an amplifier?
That is a good question. An actual fact, I'll just show you guys since we're just chatting. It does say here in the firmware updating.
Firmware.
Firmware now. There's a little connector on the back. This little connector on the back of it. I can see the connector over here. Okay. It says use RS232 cable. Yeah.
I'm betting everybody did this back in the days.
Or a PC without a serial port, a commercially available USB serial conversion cable. You can actually do that. But then goes on to mention, because I looked at this, update procedure. Connect to the update jig. So you also need something.
Wow.
This, apparently, to do it. So it's not just like USB or serial. From what I'm reading here, we need some sort of jig which you attach to do a firmware upgrade. Yeah, look, see.
Yeah.
Set the switch on the update jig. So it looks like we couldn't have easily programmed this if we'd even wanted to, if we needed to.
I mean, this is something a repair shop would do. But again, the question remains, why do you need an update for an audio amplifier?
That's a good question.
I can't answer this yet. This just feels way over-engineered. Yeah.
The only update I could think of is so that it automatically detects bad music and refuses to play it for you.
Man, don't update this, because 2025 music will probably... It won't play anything. Maybe that's a fault mode.
So there you go. That's the best thoughts on that. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks to Det for his in-depth thoughts there. Maybe you guys have got another idea. Maybe you know these amplifiers better than us. What do you think? But for now, this one's repaired. Okay, so thanks for watching Learn Electronics Repair, and see you all soon, guys. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.